That morning started like any other. The kettle was heating, the curtains still drawn, and my husband stood up slowly from his chair. But in the very next moment, he collapsed, right there in front of me. He hadn't been sick. The night before, we had laughed over dinner, like always. But as I reached for the phone to call 911, my hands trembled. My mind went completely blank, and all I could think was, I can't lose him. Not yet. Thankfully, it wasn't serious. The doctor said it was just a mix of low blood pressure and fatigue. But from that moment on, something shifted inside me. I began looking at our meals with new eyes. Every bite, every sip, they build us or they break us. And I realized maybe growing older isn't about fighting the body's changes, but learning to walk beside them gently. That's when I remembered something my mother used to make: a red juice from a humble vegetable one that has long since faded from our shelves. When I finally looked at it again with new eyes, I had no idea how much it would give back. That quiet moment opened a door inside me. And from there, the story begins. Part 1. Old Wisdom and a Red Vegetable. The kitchen was quiet before sunrise. There was a faint scent of winter in the air. I rubbed my cold hands together as I stood by the counter and gently reached for a beet still dusted with a bit of soil. Its deep reddish-purple skin felt rough under my fingers. As I peeled it, the knife made soft sounds against the cutting board. With every slice, a sweet, earthy smell filled the room, and an old memory came floating back: my grandmother's garden. She used to dig beets from the frozen ground in early winter. To me, as a child, they looked like jewels pulled from the earth. Even now, I can still feel the weight of them in my hands. Since the day my husband collapsed, our days began to shift, slowly, gently. We started sleeping earlier. We began listening more closely to the quiet messages from our bodies. Getting older means our limits change. We can't push ourselves the way we used to. But I didn't want to just accept that as getting old. I wanted to meet my body halfway, to find small, steady ways to care for us. One of those ways was this red juice. Beets aren't a common vegetable in most American kitchens, but they hold something powerful inside. They're rich in natural nitrates, which the body turns into nitric oxide, a compound that helps blood vessels relax and expand. It improves circulation. It's not a medicine, but it feels like something gently helping the body find its rhythm again. Like cracking open a window that had been shut for years and finally letting in a breeze. Since we began drinking beet juice in the mornings, I've felt fewer dizzy spells. One day, my husband quietly said, "You know, I don't get out of breath climbing the stairs anymore." It wasn't a dramatic change, but those small moments of comfort, those tiny shifts in how we feel, they brought us back to life in a quiet way. I once read that many years ago, people used beet juice to dye fabric. They would boil it down into a deep red liquid and use it to bring color to cloth. It wasn't just food, it was part of daily life, part of tradition. And that made me appreciate its red color even more. Some scientists say that when we eat nitrates regularly, they may support healthy gut bacteria. Others say we need more research. But I've come to believe something simple. Even if science can't yet prove every benefit, if something makes your body and heart feel better, maybe that's reason enough to keep doing it. One morning, as I peeled another beet, I noticed my fingertips had turned faintly red. That feeling being stained, it was oddly poetic. I realized that food doesn't just feed the body. It touches our senses, our memories. It shapes our days in ways we don't always see. The sound of my husband turning the newspaper pages, the kettle bubbling softly on the stove, a crow calling somewhere outside, all of it mixed together into that one simple drink. And I thought, it's the quiet routines that protect our quiet lives. I'll never forget the first time I made beet juice. After drinking it, I went to the bathroom and panicked. My urine had turned reddish pink. For a moment, I thought I was bleeding. But after searching online, I learned it was harmless, a common reaction called beeturia. It happens to some people and is completely safe. Still, if I hadn't known, I might have stayed afraid. That's how we learn, through small surprises, through noticing and adjusting. Step by step, we inch closer to health. And so this morning too, I face the red vegetable again. The kitchen is still cold, but my hands begin to warm. The red juice spreads across the board like time melting slowly into the day. This is something I've come to treasure with age-quiet deep mornings. And in them, I find the strength to sip one small hope, one peaceful cup at a time. Part 2. The gentle strength that supports the body and mind. The first time my husband said, "This actually tastes pretty good," I was genuinely surprised. Beets have a mild sweetness, but also a slight earthy flavor. He smiled and added, "It kind of grows on you." We were never really health conscious, not in our younger years. Back then, we had no problem eating instant noodles at midnight, and words like nutrition felt far away. But now, even small discomforts feel like signs of what's ahead. Heavy legs in the late afternoon. Fatigue that doesn't lift even after a full night's sleep. The kind of breathlessness or dizziness that lingers in the back of your mind. That's when I learned that beets contain natural nitrates which help improve blood flow. Once converted into nitric oxide, they help widen blood vessels and deliver oxygen throughout the body. It felt like new water rushing into a slow-moving river. One study even showed that drinking just 250 milliliters of beet juice could lower blood pressure within a few hours. It's not a fast-acting drug, but the idea that something so natural could quietly support the body, it gave me a strange sense of hope. But what surprised me most was how my skin changed. My cheeks, once dry and flaky, began to feel soft again. And when I looked in the mirror, my face had a touch of color. Beet juice is rich in vitamin C and iron. When circulation improves, your skin receives more nutrients too. They say beauty comes from within, and I started to believe it. Another unexpected benefit was how it affected my brain. Since I began drinking beet juice, the fogginess I felt each morning seemed to lift a little. I won't say my memory improved overnight, but those "what was I doing again" moments seemed to happen less. One study even showed that older adults who drank beet juice before walking had better blood flow to the frontal lobe, the part of the brain that controls memory, focus, and decision-making. Now, I drink beet juice before my morning walks. It feels like I'm feeding my brain and my body with every step I take. And if I'm being honest, my mood changed too. I got less irritated. I worried less. It was like my body calming down helped my mind do the same. I found myself becoming more patient, not just with others, but with myself. That quiet change made me truly happy. Of course, results don't happen overnight. Everyone's body is different. Lifestyle matters too. But never in my life did I think a small glass of red juice could create such a shift in both body and mind. There's a saying, as we age, both our bodies and hearts soften. I used to hear that with a hint of sarcasm, but now I understand. Softening isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And to soften our bodies needs steady inner flow. So today, again, I pour a small glass of beet juice. I drink it slowly, letting it fill me gently. Like quiet music, it flows through me. No one may notice the change, but I know it's there. Part 3. The hidden pitfalls we never see coming. Sometimes when we hear something is good for us, we rush to try it, but we often turn it into a habit before checking if it really suits our bodies. Beet juice was no exception. In the beginning, I drank 1 full glass every morning. It made me feel lighter, so I happily increased the amount. Then one morning, my husband said, "My stomach feels kind of bloated." I had also noticed that I was going to the bathroom more often. When I looked into it, I found that beets are high in fiber. Too much can cause gas bloating or even diarrhea in some people. What shocked me even more was learning that beets contain oxalates, which may increase the risk of kidney stones for people who are already prone to them. The average person is probably fine, but those with kidney concerns should be careful. Beets also lower blood pressure, which is helpful for many. But for people like me, who already have low blood pressure, it can make us feel lightheaded or tired. Imagine that trying to be healthy, but ending up drained instead. There's one more thing, though, rarely discussed. Some people may have an allergic reaction. Mild skin irritation, itchiness, or throat discomfort. Thankfully, my husband and I were fine. But if you're trying it for the first time, starting with a small amount is always safer. Why do we fall into these hidden traps? Maybe because we assume that natural means safe, but natural things still need to match your body. Some doctors say that while the nitrate to nitric oxide process helps circulation, the long-term safety needs more study. Others warn that certain nitrates, especially chemical preservatives, could become harmful compounds. But those are different from the ones found in fresh beets. Still, it reminds me how important balance is. Listen to your body. Find your own right amount. That, I believe, is the real foundation of health. Since then, I've reduced beet juice to 3 or 4 times a week. Just half a cup, not more. Not because I gave up on it, but because I wanted to keep it sustainable. Gentle pace, gentle care. And beet juice doesn't have to be plain. I mix it with apple carrot or ginger. A splash of lemon makes it fresh and bright. It's fun to experiment, and it keeps the habit from getting boring. What I've learned is this: even something good, if too much, can be too much. And what's just right is different for everyone. Health, I think, is a personal journey. So today, again, I pour a small red glass and quietly ask myself, what kind of day will this be? Is this enough for the me I am today? And in that calm moment, as I sip slowly, I feel like I'm having a real conversation with my body. Maybe that's what true health feels like. Part 4. The gift brought by small changes. One morning, while I was preparing beet juice, like always, my husband quietly stepped into the kitchen. He sat down and said softly, "Lately, I feel a little lighter." I was surprised. Until now, he'd always sipped it with a frown, saying, "Well, not a fan of the taste, but I guess it's good for me." But this time, he said it with ease. He'd been told he was pre-diabetic, so he'd become more careful with his meals. Still, beets, this unfamiliar foreign vegetable, made him hesitant at first. Now, he prepares his own cup in the morning. "The color somehow makes me feel energized," he muttered once, and inside, I did a little fist pump. Then, something happened one Sunday. While resting on a park bench, we decided to climb a small hill. Before, it used to leave us breathless, but this time, we reached the top without even noticing. He looked at me and laughed. "Wait, we're already here." That moment almost brought tears to my eyes. As our walking distance grew, so did our conversations. Even the volume on the TV got lower. Maybe better blood flow helps hearing too. As for me, it was my skin that changed the most. My dry, flaky cheeks became softer. Foundation went on smoother. I knew vitamin C, iron, and magnesium help with skin repair, but to feel that was different, it's not makeup. What matters is taking care of your body from the inside. I only came to feel this way after getting older. One of my friends in her 70s told me her constipation improved after adding beet juice. I tried everything before. Nothing worked. But this, it's strange, isn't it? She laughed gently, with a look of soft relief on her face. And slowly the red habit began spreading among people around me. A neighbor I shared beets with returned the favor. She made pickles. They were so delicious. Our table looked brighter that night. "Red really is a color that gives life," she said. And we started to appreciate vegetables again in a new way. That's when I realized this isn't just about staying healthy. It's a moment to greet your body each day. A quiet act that tells you, "I'm alive again today." One night, my husband told me, "I've started dreaming again." He used to wake up often, never sleeping deeply. Maybe the nutrients in beets help with sleep hormones, I don't know. But the fact that he noticed something that alone feels like proof to me. There's still a lot we don't know between science and feeling. But maybe not knowing makes the process meaningful. We listen to our body. We sense the quiet shifts in our heart, and we move forward. Aging is not a step backward. It's a journey toward gentler days. And if beets this vivid red can accompany us on that road, then truly, what a precious gift it is. Each morning I stare at the red drop swirling in my cup. And that moment, soft and warm, gently wraps the beginning of my day. Part 5. A promise to body and heart from today. Anam, I still remember that day, the white ceiling of the hospital, the cold cords around my husband's fingertips, the monitor beeping softly. Everything was quiet, but inside me, something was breaking. Maybe it wasn't fear, maybe it was awareness, that our time is not endless, and that while we still can, maybe it's worth changing something. Since then, I've slowly adjusted my daily rhythm. No more late nights, soft music in the morning, gentle breakfast prep. The red juice became part of this peaceful start, like a breath for my soul. Beet juice isn't a medicine, but for us, it became something like a healing habit. Each sip seemed to remind my body I'm still alive today, That quiet reassurance built up inside me. One day, while chatting with a couple tending their garden, I heard the woman say, "Aging doesn't mean forgetting. It means finally noticing the things we once ignored." That line stuck with me. I hadn't noticed the depth of Beet's color or its strange taste. But now, through repetition, I began to sense the quiet kindness inside it. Nature holds a kind of gentle wisdom, not too sweet, not too flashy, but deeply effective. It's a lot like relationships, too. Awkward at first, but with time and attention, they open up. Our bodies are the same. They don't want us to force change overnight. They want us to listen, to accept, to care. In early spring, the camellia flowers in our garden bloom slowly. That soft unfolding of time, it matches our life now. The red juice reminds me of the flowers. No rush, no show, just presence. And that alone is enough to comfort the heart. Lately, I've started whispering thank you in the mornings. I don't know to whom, but I can wake up. I can move my hands. I can make juice. I can talk with my husband. That in itself feels like a miracle. Aging, it's not only filled with sadness. I can say that now. Because of this red cup. Because I've learned to feel joy from the smallest changes in body and heart. So, if you're hearing this today and you're wondering, is this how I want to keep living? I gently want to say, if you feel the desire to change, you've already taken the first step. Beet juice won't fix everything. But if it becomes the first small sign that you want to care for yourself again, then it's already meaningful. May the red drop gently seep into your day, and may tomorrow feel just a little lighter than today. In the chilly morning air, I pour another glass of red juice. Its color sways softly in the cup, like a tiny lantern lighting the start of my day. The same scene as before, but something has changed. Maybe it's time. Flowing differently now inside of me. Our bodies more fragile than we admit, but stronger than we believe. They heal if we rest. They respond when we care. Like a plant that blooms again in spring, even after winters freeze. Our hearts, too, heal within kind habits. Beet juice, its quiet red, taught me that. And if you're standing still right now, hesitating to begin something new, don't worry. Even one small glass can begin to change your life. If there's someone around you who might need this story, please share it with them. Will you quietly drift through time? Or will you begin today to gently align with your body's rhythm? What is something you want to keep doing? Tell me in the comments. And if this touched you, like a share or a subscribe would mean the world. Let's build a gentle life together.